Okay, so you're pouring everything into your startup, right?
Hmm.
Building something amazing. And, social media could be, well, a huge potential booster.
Definitely.
But sometimes it just feels like, I don't know, you're shouting into the void, not getting that traction you expected.
It's a common feeling.
Yeah. And look, if you are looking for ways to, give your social profiles a direct lift, there are services. Rapidboost.net is one place you could check out for that kind of thing.
For boosting visibility.
Exactly. But today, we're digging into something more foundational.
Hmm.
These overlooked social media missteps that might actually be costing you sales.
Real money. Yeah.
We've pinpointed 5 key areas where startups often, well, stumble. Think of this as a way to make sure your social efforts actually, pay off.
That's right. And we've looked at the data, real examples. These aren't just like surface level tips. We're talking core reasons why these mistakes happen.
And crucially, what you can do about them.
Exactly. How to steer clear.
Yeah.
Consider this your strategic guide to making social media a real asset.
Okay, let's jump right in. Mistake number 1, neglecting audience research.
Yeah.
It sounds like such a no-brainer, doesn't it?
Right.
But honestly, you wouldn't launch a product without knowing who it's for.
You really shouldn't.
So why do it with social media? That whole post and pray approach,
Mm-hmm.
it just doesn't cut it usually.
No, and what's really striking is this gap. Sprout Social found 88% of consumers follow brands for value. They want useful stuff.
88%, okay.
Only 19% of brands are systematically, asking for feedback, listening. That disconnect.
Yeah.
It's a massive missed opportunity.
Huge. And it's not just theoretical. We saw this case study, TechStart, a sauce company.
Right, I remember that one.
Initially, their feed was all technical jargon, industry news. Engagement was totally flat.
Yeah, talking at people, not with them.
Exactly. But then they actually surveyed their users, started listening, shifted to things like productivity tips, founder stories, Q&As, stuff people cared about.
And the results.
Dramatic.
Yeah.
A 230% jump in engagement. And, get this, a 40% increase in qualified leads in 3 months.
Wow. Okay, that really proves the point. Moving from just broadcasting to having a conversation.
It shows the power of really knowing who you're talking to.
Absolutely. So the question for you listening is your social strategy about what you want to shout or what your audience actually needs to hear?
Good question. So, for a startup, maybe tight on resources, time, what are some practical ways to start listening better?
It doesn't have to be complicated. Start with the basics, your platform analytics, who's engaging, what posts work best.
Right, the data's there.
Then simple things, run polls on Instagram stories, ask open-ended questions on Twitter or LinkedIn.
Get them talking.
Exactly. And importantly, look at your competitors. Who are they talking to? What content resonates for them? Find those overlaps and find where you can be different.
Okay, so first big takeaway. Know your audience, don't just guess.
Couldn't agree more.
All right, let's move to mistake number 2. Inconsistent branding and messaging. This is all about how you show up online, right? Your whole vibe.
Precisely. Every single tweet, every post, every comment, it all shapes perception. And if it's all over the place, different tones, different looks,
It gets confusing.
it erodes trust. And that directly impacts whether someone feels confident enough to actually buy from you. One source called it a journey into confusion for the audience.
I can picture that. Like one day it's super formal, the next it's meme heavy, the logo changes.
Yeah, who are these
It
guys?
feels unprofessional.
Yeah.
And it actually costs money. That Lucid Press study, consistent branding can lift revenue by up to 23%.
23%, that's not small change.
No, but here's the kicker. Only about 1 in 4 startups actually have documented brand guidelines for social.
Wow. So a huge missed opportunity for building that recognizable, trustworthy feel.
Definitely.
And it's really about credibility. A unified look and feel signals stability, professionalism. If it's fragmented, people might wonder, is the product stable? Is the company reliable?
Makes sense, like that FinPath example,
Yeah.
the fintech startup.
Oh, yeah, the two founders with totally different online styles.
Right. It caused genuine confusion. People started dropping off. Only when they unified the tone, the visuals, did things stabilize and improve.
It shows how important that cohesive front is.
So what are the concrete steps for a startup to build this?
It starts foundational. Document your mission, your values, your brand voice. What do you stand for? How do you sound?
Get it down on paper.
Yes. Then, the visuals. Choose your color palette, your fonts, clear logo usage rules, the style for images and videos. Get specific.
And the bios, too.
Absolutely. Consistent bios across platforms. And critically, Make sure everyone on the team who touches social media understands and uses these guidelines.
Everyone on the same page.
Consistency is key.
Because, yeah, that social profile is like your digital handshake.
Yeah.
Needs to be firm, recognizable, trustworthy.
Well put.
Okay, mistake number 3. Focusing on vanity metrics over meaningful engagement. This feels like a big one, especially now. Everyone wants those big follower numbers.
It's seductive, isn't it? Likes, follower counts. They look good on the surface, but honestly, they don't automatically translate to sales.
Right.
Real engagement, comments, shares, DMs, clicks, that's the indicator of a genuinely connected audience. You can have 1 million followers, but if only 0.1% interact.
Then the number is pretty hollow.
Exactly. It doesn't reflect real business potential.
Now that Hootsuite report you mentioned,
Yeah.
less than 1% of major brand followers actively engage. That's sobering.
It really puts things in perspective. Quality over quantity, absolutely. It's easy to fall into the trap of chasing, as one source put it, applause over action.
Applause over action. I like that. What's that look like in practice?
Well, the most obvious pitfall is buying fake followers. Terrible idea. Damages credibility, tanks your reach to real followers.
Do it.
Please don't. Or jumping on every viral trend, even if it has nothing to do with your brand or your audience. You might get a temporary spike, but
But it doesn't lead anywhere meaningful, like that Ecom Lab example.
Oh, the meme campaign. Yeah. Tripled their followers, which sounds great.
That's amazing.
0 impact on sales conversions because the people attracted by the memes weren't actually their target customers. Total misalignment.
Ouch. So, tripled followers, 0 sales. A painful lesson. Okay, if likes and followers aren't the goal, what should startups track?
Metrics that show genuine interest and intent. Things like click-through rates are people leaving social to visit your site.
Okay, actions.
Yes. Sign-ups for your email list, downloads of your lead magnets like guides or checklists, and obviously direct sales or leads attributed to social.
What about engagement on the platform?
Super important too. Thoughtful comments, DMs, asking questions. These show real interest. Even micro conversions like signing up for a webinar or following a link to a blog post. They all matter.
So the real takeaway is build a community, however small, that actually cares, rather than just chasing a massive indifferent crowd.
Precisely. Sales follow genuine interest and connection.
It's total sense. Okay, let's tackle mistake number 4. Ignoring paid social and smart promotion. I suspect many startups, especially early on, feel like they just can't afford this.
That's a really common hurdle, the budget concern. But here's the reality of today's social landscape. Organic reach, just posting for free, is way down.
It's harder to get seen.
Much harder. Platform algorithms actively prioritize paid content. And you can bet your competitors are probably already investing in reaching your target audience through ads.
So just hoping for that organic magic to strike. It's probably not enough anymore.
For most startups, relying solely on organic is, let's say, a very optimistic strategy. It's unlikely to be sufficient for consistent growth.
Right, but paid social still sounds expensive and may be complex for a small team.
And that's why the key word is smart promotion. It doesn't have to mean huge budgets. You can be very targeted.
Like how?
Think retargeting, showing ads specifically to people who've already visited your website, or creating lookalike audiences based on your best existing customer.
Reaching similar people.
Exactly. Even just boosting your best performing organic posts to reach a wider but still relevant audience can be really effective and quite affordable.
Okay, boosting top content makes sense.
Yeah, amplify what already works. Look at LaunchFound, that digital agency example. They spent just $500 on Facebook retargeting.
$500, okay.
And generated $3,400 in new customer sales. That's a solid return on a pretty small, focused investment.
Wow, okay. Nearly 7x return. That's compelling. And I like that the source mentioned promotion isn't just ads, right? Partnerships, collaborations.
Absolutely. Think joint campaigns with complementary brands, working with relevant micro-influencers who have genuine engagement with a niche audience. It's about finding creative, cost-effective ways to amplify your message.
So how do you balance the organic effort with this paid side?
Good question. A smart approach is see what resonates organically first. Identify those posts getting good engagement, then consider putting a little budget behind them to extend their reach.
Test the waters.
Exactly. Run small, targeted paid tests. See what messaging works, which audiences respond best before you scale up spending. And integrate. Promote your organic activities like a live Q&A with a little paid boost to make sure people see it.
Okay, so it's not optional anymore, really.
Yeah.
Some level of strategic controlled promotion is pretty essential.
For most startups aiming for growth today, yes. It's moved from nice to have to need to have.
Got it. All right, final mistake, number 5. Being overly promotional. The constant sales pitch.
Ugh, yes, we've
Mm.
all seen those feeds, right? Every single post is buy now, limited time offer, sale.
It's exhausting and honestly a turnoff.
Completely. It feels desperate, and it ignores why people are on social media in the first place.
Hmm.
And the data backs this up. Edelman's Trust Barometer found 81% of consumers want brands to provide solutions, offer value, not just sell constantly.
81%. They want help, not just hype.
Precisely. So if your feed is just a relentless sales megaphone, you're actually eroding trust and pushing people away. They'll just tune you out or unfollow.
Makes perfect sense. People want connection, information, maybe entertainment, not just constant ads. So what's the better way?
Focus on providing genuine value. Think. Helpful how-to tutorials related to your product or industry. Behind-the-scenes glimpses of your company culture or process.
Make you human.
Yes, run interactive polls, share customer success stories, maybe even entertain a little if it fits your brand. Anything that helps, educates, or involves your audience.
Build goodwill first.
Exactly. That positions you as a resource, someone they trust. Look at Growth Pulse. They doubled lead gen. How? By shifting from pushy promos to genuinely educational LinkedIn posts and hosting founder AMAs. Value first.
That's a great example. And I really like that 80-20 rule the source mentioned.
Yeah, the 80-20 principle is a great guideline. Aim for roughly 80% of your content to be valuable, helpful, engaging, and only about 20% to be directly promotional.
80% value, 20% sell. Seems like a healthy balance.
It really is. And think about Style Sprout, the fashion tech startup. They stopped just posting product shots constantly.
What did they do instead?
Shared more behind-the-brand stories, user-generated content, focused on the community. The result? More inquiries, more actual purchases, because they built connection first.
So ironically, the best way to sell on social often involves not constantly trying to sell.
You got it. Prioritize the audience, provide value, build trust. The sales opportunities naturally follow from those strong relationships.
It's about relationship building, ultimately, not just transactions.
Exactly. Social media, done right, is about cultivating those meaningful connections. That's the foundation for sustainable growth, and yes, the sales will come.
Well, there we have it. 5 really critical social media mistakes that can seriously hold back your startup's growth, costing you actual sales. Neglecting audience research, inconsistent branding, chasing vanity metrics, ignoring smart promotion, and being way too salesy.
That covers the big ones.
It's definitely a lot to think about, but hopefully breaking it down like this gives you a clearer roadmap for, fine-tuning your own approach.
Absolutely. Take a moment, reflect on your current social media efforts. Are you perhaps falling into any of these common traps, even slightly?
Yeah, a little self-audit.
For sure. Because even small targeted tweaks in these areas can make a really significant difference in your engagement and, yeah, ultimately in your startup's success.
Right. And on that note, here's a final thought to leave you with. What's just one small change, one little adjustment you could make to your social media approach starting today that might just have the biggest positive ripple effect on your growth in the next few months?
Good question to ponder.
Definitely worth thinking about. Thanks for diving deep with us today.